Cape to Cape Track. Western Australia's rugged and beautiful Cape to Cape Track was forged from sheer determination. He whales are breaching as one. Not simply at the same time, despite the fact that minutes sooner 5 humpbacks were starting up out of the water immediately. Presently, in wonderful evenness, 2 humpbacks are angling high into the air, as synchronized swimmers or prepared dolphins, with not a balance awkward. Indeed, even Bill Webb, a Wardandi senior who has been fishing here since youth and has seen a large number of penetrates, is yelling in fervor. Bill and individual Wardandi man Josh Whiteland have taken me along a track, clear-cut from the start then a scramble, to one of their #1 stone fishing spots. They were started up to get down here, and all things considered, it's a ravishing area. A seal jabs its head up from underneath the tranquil water. Rainbows seem to grow from the ocean as daylight strikes dispersed deluges toward the east. Behind us, ocean caves dribble with such countless tapered rocks maybe the actual caverns are dissolving into the sea. Furthermore, the whales are penetrating, outlined against a sky became saffron by the sunset. Guides show this spot as Cape Naturalist, yet the Wardandi call it Quirijiningup, the spot with the wonderful view. This is the northern finish of Wau's Cape to Cape Track, in 19,092 hectares Leeuwin Naturalist National Park. The 135 km track is a progression of likewise lovely spots, terrific headlands, high precipice tops, tall karri timberlands and long, desolate seashores. The track runs between Cape Naturalist and Cape Leeuwin along Australia's most southwesterly coastline, conveying anglers, for example, Bill and Josh to their attempted and tried destinations, surfers to testing and world-popular waves, cavers to stunning arrangements and climbers to fabulous rock ocean bluffs. Also, obviously, there are the individuals who come just to walk the wild stretch of coast, to follow void seashores, wend through wind-pruned heath and remain on high, watching rocks being beat by expanse that have flooded unhindered right from Africa. Equilibrium is maybe the track's characterizing quality. The conspicuous mark of balance is that among ocean and land. Water, thus shimmering and kind, then, at that point grumpy and seething, isn't simply accidental to the track, it characterizes its person as much as does the actual land. However, past this is the harmony among seashore and woodland, solace and challenge, wild and civilization. Indeed, even the topography is adjusted, a significant part of the track twists over rises made out of limestone under 2 million years of age, the stone underneath, and that uncovered all things considered headlands, is to a great extent old granitic gneiss, a kind of transformative stone, that is 600 to 1,500 million years of age. It's these differentiations that make the track unique, says Jane Scott, leader of Friends of the Cape to Cape Track. It's not gigantically breathtaking with mountain view or extremely high precipices, however you have an extraordinary assortment of landforms and marvelous vegetation. You can truly feel absolutely distant but you're just a short distance from civilization. Walk a segment of the track with Jane and you'll think that it's the vegetation that gets her generally energized. Notwithstanding having moved here 35 years prior, she's lost neither her cut English intonation nor the adventure of spotting wildflowers. Ooh, she cries, as we stroll through heath close to Redgate Beach. A jackass orchid. Ooh, ooh, ooh. See that stunning blaze of blue. Dampiera linearis. At the point when you're strolling through this park you just can't resist the urge to tune into the wildflowers, they're dazzling, says Penny Morrison, who went from Victoria in November to walk the Cape to Cape with loved ones to praise her 60th birthday celebration. They're so not quite the same as the ones out east. Everyone resembles another, diverse chocolate treat. A portion of the blossoms you'll discover no place else. The extraordinary creepy crawly orchid, for example, one of roughly 150 orchid assortments inside the recreation center, fills just in 130 km stretch between Cape Naturalist and Moses Rock. The plant variety is expected partially to the way that Leeuwin Naturalist NP rides a few biological systems, including the Swan Coastal Plain and Jarrah and Karri woodlands. The whole southwestern locale is perceived universally as Australia's just biodiversity area of interest. Wildflowers and delightful vistas aren't everything you'll see from the track. In case you're up on a vantage point, you'll see schools of salmon and tailor, and the cases of dolphins chasing them, says Leeuwin Naturalist NP officer Gilbert Stockman, who has likewise functioned as an instruction official for the Department of Fisheries. Walk the track through the transitory season and you'd be exceptionally frustrated not to see humpback whales. You'll likewise see ocean lions basically close to the capes, New Zealand hide seals and an intermittent panther seal. Also, the stone pools, says Gilbert, are loaded with marine life, nudibranches, a kind of regularly lavishly hued ocean slug, crabs, scavengers, shrimp, abalone, striped zebrafish and now and again even meter-long groupers. See the connected video. The Cape to Cape track was authoritatively made in 2001, albeit the thought for it started to come to fruition as right on time as the 1970s. Jane and her companions were customary wayfarers in the district, strolling on seashores or existing tracks where conceivable and alternating doing vehicle transports. As wineries sprung up all through the Margaret River area, they joined suppers into their strolls also. Jane says it was during this time that she started contemplating a significant distance track. Neil Taylor, Lewin Naturalist NP's entertainment organizer and a buckling mate of Jane's, was thinking exactly the same thing. In the mid-90s he moved toward her, and together they delineated a course that connected long sandy seashores, existing and resin-constructed strolling tracks, and old four-wheel drive courses gouged out by ranchers, anglers and surfers. Yet, without the Friends of the Cape to Cape track, the fruitful finish of the track would have been close to unimaginable, says Lewin Naturalist NP head officer Glenn Wilmot. By the last part of the 90s, the public park had initiated the track's development, yet they came up short on target to proceed. In 1998 the Friends bunch framed to draw in awards and subsidizing the public park proved unable. They were basic in bringing the possibility of the track through, Glenn says. There are presently in excess of 400 Friends, whose little yearly membership contributes genuinely necessary assets for the track's support. About 35 Friends have embraced a segment of track, normally 3 to 5 kilometers long. Any place between one time per year and a few months, these individuals will take off to prune, check guideposts, gather trash and do minor upkeep. Numerous Friends are resigned or semi-resigned. It's something critical to do, says 70-year-old retired person Jim McLaughlin, a Friend for almost 10 years. I can keep a track open for the overall population, and it's better time than a terrible round of golf. Not all track adopters are resigned, be that as it may. The Margaret River Surfrider Foundation has taken on a 6 km segment among Ellensbrook and left-handers, and 33-year-old Blair Darville, solid, fit and tanned, is one of the dozen or something like that individuals who effectively take an interest. There's a considerable amount of effect that surfers have on the track, says Blair, in the quintessential surfer's rhythm. It's a lovely renowned stretch of coastline. There's basically about 6 surf breaks along it. You can get to the breaks by strolling along the seashores and coast. In any case the Cape to Cape track is faster. Be that as it may, from the track you drop down the edge, which is delicate, so is the waterfront heath. Furthermore, it has a limestone base that will in general disintegrate and dissolve before long. The outcome, says Blair, is a progression of GO tracks the Surfrider Foundation is attempting to change over to perceived ways. Some portion of the arrangement is to assemble steps and spot signs to instruct surfers. They're additionally dealing with a cosmetic touch-up for an old 4WD vehicle leave. As with so numerous who now live nearby, Blair didn't grow up here. Initially from New Zealand, he showed up 8 years prior and it was all-consuming, instant adoration. I arrived around evening time, showing up at Gracetown, and woke up toward the beginning of the day with my first sight being these point separates stripping either side of the strait, and there were whales hopping down the rear of the waves, he says. It just blew me away. I was snared. Be that as it may, despite the fact that I'm not from here, chipping away at the track has caused me to feel a genuine having a place with the spot. I'm much more joined. It's a positive sentiment. Cape to Cape, awesome view. It's an easy start to the track from the north, essentially in the shadow of Cape Naturalist Lighthouse. The initial 3 kilometers is hard surfaced, with segments of promenade, and twists tenderly down to Sugarloaf Rock, where red-followed tropic birds have decided to settle. In spring, there's a mob of wildflowers, their fragrance so solid that even with a sea breeze you can't smell the salt air. Strategically located seats permit walkers to sit and look at the ocean or moving whales, or spy on rippling wrens. Indeed, even south of Sugarloaf Rock, when the way goes to sand, the track keeps up with its accommodating nature, proceeding with a delicate plummet through shriveled heath. It meanders quietly along limestone precipices, past phenomenally formed, scarred stone, or more inlets, seashores and reefs lapped by light blue water to show up at the Three Bears, named for its surf breaks, Popper, Mama and Baby Bear. While these initial areas are wonderful, the track is significantly more testing than individuals anticipate. The vicinity to towns and absence of long trips lead numerous walkers to belittle the track. There are long areas of calf-consuming seashore strolling, in excess of 20 kilometers altogether, and surprisingly the frame track is regularly delicate and sandy. It's additionally the primary spot in Australia to endure the worst part of hurricanes preparing off the southern and Indian seas. I realize this will sound insane, however I discovered the Cape to Cape more demanding than Kokoda, says Peter Pereira, 51, of Margaret River, who strolled the Cape to Cape's length 2 years prior. While in Kokoda walkers can enlist doormen, here, you're conveying the weight, walking through the seashore sand. And keeping in mind that he likes the authentic meaning of Kokoda, Peter says he discovered it excessively swarmed. Here you're out there without anyone else. I very much want that, he says. As far as I might be concerned, the track adds another layer to the space. Indeed, there are incredible wines and food and landscape, however to walk it gives you an actual appreciation too. What's more, you can downsize it and do a day walk, you don't need to do the entire thing. Jane gauges 300 to 400 individuals walk the track from one finish to another every year, except a lot more complete it as a progression of day strolls. Track access is made simple because of various streets getting down to the coast and the state of Lewin Naturalist NP itself. It's a fragment of a hold, only 120 kilometers long and a simple 100 meters to 5 kilometers wide, albeit 21 pledges ensuring 450 hectares of land adjoining the recreation center make a feeling of more noteworthy width. Despite the fact that you're often just 5 kilometers from a primary street, it feels distant, Jane says. Assuming you needed to, you could walk the whole track without coming into contact with civilization, despite the fact that it's turning out to be more troublesome. The region has been changed by the developing notoriety of the Margaret River Wine District and a neighborhood economy supported by the WA Assets Blast. Margaret River and Busselton have prospered from expanded the travel industry and resulting populous development. In Yallingup, Prebley and Gracetown, fibro shacks and dilapidated cabins have been supplanted by smooth houses. Bistros and cafes are stylish. 15 years prior, around 900,000 guests came to Lewin Naturalist NP yearly. Presently, around 2.3 million make the outing to its seashores, woodlands and caverns, making it the most mainstream public park in WA. Overseeing individuals is likely the greatest issue we have, Glenn says. We've needed to place in vehicle parks to ensure vegetation. Throughout the most recent 15 years, we've presumably placed in somewhere around 16 latrine blocks, perhaps 10 flights of stairs, and 6 or 7 significant street upgrades. That load of things depend on expanded appearance. The further south you head, the more out of control the Cape to Cape becomes. Vehicle access turns out to be progressively restricted. The quantity of walkers diminishes. From the high bluffs of Conto the track turns inland, towards the Borenup Forest, where Carry develops straight and tall. Following quite a while of strolling on desolate coastline, the difference is striking. The breeze kicks the bucket, and in the woodlands house of prayer quietness, birdsong reverberates. In spite of stories of an occupant villain, the Borenup is regularly named by walkers as their #1 segment. Maybe this is on the grounds that the track here is firm, for the long, wild seashore segments aren't far away. Coming onto Borenup Beach, you have 8 kilometers of delicate sand, a pack on your back and a Sue westerly in your face, says Perth inhabitant Rob Dixon. It tests your strength. A day's walk further south and you hit a 500 meters stone stage as holy as Swiss cheddar. If the waves, wind and tide are correct, blowholes will rocket water up to 30 meters into the air. Adjusting the headland, you acquire your first look at your objective, Cape Lewin. For walkers, it's a sweet, sweet sight. There's a far-off, perfect, void seashore preceding you, and somewhere far off, the tallest beacon on the Australian territory, advising you that civilization isn't far away. On the Cape to Cape track, everything's about balance. Thanks for watching. Bye now. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Life is Often if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.